You're demoted.
Script here with another video. So this is kind of along the same lines as my last one, talking about the Kylo Ren stuff and just going into a little more detail than maybe a lot of you guys have heard. That previous video just kind of, I did really think it through and saw so many flaws in that scene, and a lot of people have commented and stuff that they didn't notice that, and they were like, oh wow, yeah, that is really stupid. There's another huge aspect of the sequel trilogy that also has been kind of overlooked, I think, by the vast majority of people. It's something that I tweeted 2-3 years ago when I very first started on social media. I haven't done a video about it because I didn't cover the sequels because there were so many reviews and guys talking about it, and then I came along late and I said, I don't really want to do that. I was focused on my Star Wars Reimagined re-edit, so I didn't do that. But this is another one of those ones where it's like, I take it a little bit deeper and maybe delve in a little bit further than some of the regular people that maybe you listen to or watch do. And so this has to do with Leia, but it also has to do with just the overall communication in the sequel trilogy between people over long distances, and just how silly they sort of made Leia look in the overall picture when you really stop and look at it. And again, I don't think they ever did. So here's the scenario. So Leia, who is running the resistance and everyone knows who she is. She's a general, all those things in the New Republic. She sends out a distress signal from Crate and nobody answers. Nobody answers. And the excuse that I get from people is, well, they knew Vader was her dad, and so they didn't want to answer. Okay, but that's a big galaxy, right? Is everyone in the galaxy against her because Vader was her dad? Every person? There's not a single guy with a ship. There's no Wedge. There's no everyone's against her. You see what I'm saying? That's a really silly thing. I mean, imagine if somebody sent out a distress signal from in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it was somebody who's, maybe it was Kim Jong-un's son or something, right? I think he only has a daughter, but whatever. Let's say it's Kim Jong-un's son. Nobody likes him. Nobody responds to his distress signal from the middle of the Pacific. Literally zero people. There's not anyone who's like, hey man, that guy, it's not his fault or whatever. Like, no, it's just the whole population of the Earth, 8 billion people. No, leave him to die. So I know that's an extreme example, but that's basically what we're saying here. And this is Leia. Surely she would have had a heavy amount of sympathizers, regardless of the amount of people that were like, oh, it's Vader's daughter. So nobody answers that call. Okay, that's one thing. Fine. As silly as that seems to me. Okay. 5 minutes later, in that same scene on Crate, Projection Luke shows up and he fake fights Kylo Ren to buy the rebels the 15 seconds they apparently needed to get away. I've gone into that. I don't think they needed that. They were on this other side of the mountain. Why didn't the TIEs go after the Millennium Falcon back there? Who knows? Whatever. They were sitting there watching Luke fight, and then all of a sudden they're at the back door after he fades away 10 seconds later. The whole thing makes no sense, but whatever. He shows up and fights Kylo to supposedly buy the rebels the 15 seconds they need to get away. Within hours of that happening, because again, this movie takes place over 3 days. This is within hours of The Last Jedi happening. Word is spread throughout the galaxy of Luke's fake fight with Kylo, and then now all sorts of rebels are now inspired and are waiting for direction. We have the kids in the stable on Canto Bight talking about Luke. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not like 5 years later, they're all the same age. That would make some sense, right? Oh, we've heard about it through the grapevine over all these years. No, they're still the same. They look exactly the same. And they're acting out the scene that took place. So somehow those kids found out about this hours later. The only people that witnessed it that could have told them about it were the Empire. So maybe some stormtrooper? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But they get the Legend of Luke that just happened. It's a garbage legend, but that's what they get. But Leia gets nothing with actual tech sending actual signals. Okay, no, we're not done yet. This is the sequel trilogy, okay? A year goes by before Leia and the Resistance give these people that have heard about Luke's, I guess, inspiring story any direction. So there's a year between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and Leia has not gone out and recruited anybody, really. I mean, it appears there's a few more people in some of those scenes, but it looks like there's maybe 150 people max, 200 people max. So a year's gone by and they just kind of, the Legend of Luke spread within an hour, but this is how many people we got, 100 people. So the whole thing makes no sense. And then this is communication across galaxies, okay? So Leia couldn't get anybody, but then Lando goes around in about 15 hours. In about 15 hours, he travels around and gets about 10,000 rebels from all over the galaxy. So Leia looks like a complete idiot who no one cares about. even though she's 100 times more well-known than Lando, right? Lando would be well-known to, rebels and rebel sympathizers, but nothing compared to Leia. She's at a whole other extreme, but she can't get anyone to answer her on Crate, but he can go around and then collect 10,000 rebels in 15 hours with no signal. And Luke becomes a legend within an hour, even though the only people that witnessed it were this tiny resistance band who are now hiding and a bunch of stormtroopers. Did the Millennium Falcon go back to Canto Bight to go tell the stable boys? So this is one of the most ridiculous things in the sequel trilogy, and I don't find a whole lot of people talking about this, and I don't think a whole lot of people have talked about this. But when you break all this down, all it really does is it makes Leia look pathetic. It makes the galaxy's communication look stupid. It shrinks the galaxy so stinking tiny that it makes absolutely no sense that Lando could have recruited all those guys. Leia doesn't do anything for basically a year after The Last Jedi, except recruit maybe 50 more people. And then you have the whole Luke with the stable boy thing. So essentially, Leia looks like a complete idiot in this scenario. She doesn't use the legend of what her brother did to recruit. She doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot of anything. It's Lando that goes around and gets all these people. Just think about that for a second. In a year, Leia did basically nothing. And then, Palpatine arrived. So the whole thing's really, really terrible, guys, and it makes Leia look really, really bad. And it's just another in a series of comedic stupidity in the sequel trilogy, and that most of which makes the OT characters look like complete idiots. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Is this just another example of a complete, just debased, stupid, nonsensical situation? Or do you think it's okay? Let me know. That's fine too. But if you like the sequels, feel free to comment on this and try to sort of bring me to a conclusion that makes sense to me. If you don't and you agree, comment as well. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think overall. Thank you guys so much for the support of my channel, as it's been growing quite a bit lately. And if you do like this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Feel free to check out any other Star Wars content. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful day.